Yes, I got my cranberry.
She got a whole bottle
jug,
of
and I'm finna go in.
senior citizen juice.
Cranberry juice is really good for you.
It's senior citizen juice. It's up there with prune juice.
I would disagree.
It's right up there with prune juice.
What's up, y'all? We're back with another, is it an episode? Is that what we're calling it? Another episode for our podcast, All of Us Sutton.
Boy, if you don't get... Why you say that like you didn't exactly know what?
Because you've been doing the last intros. I'm not really good at intros, y'all. So anyways, what's up?
How you doing? Yeah. We're back with another episode. You know how it is.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm excited for this new topic.
Are you?
I am, because I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday, and we're talking about best friends. And,
go best friend, that's my best friend.
You know that Kevin Hart stand up. We've been mentioning Kevin Hart a lot lately, but you know that Kevin Hart stand up when he's like, "You're my best effing friend." Like,
the one where he's like,
my BS is your BS.
Help me. Help me. Yeah.
Yes. So that's kind of like what it made me think about, because where does entitlement come from being a best friend? Like, why do people feel like you have to have that one significant person as a best friend? And why do people feel like they need to be that significant person in somebody's life?
I feel like that's the better question right there, is why do people feel like they need to be that best friend? Because I feel like with best friends, it's not one of those things where you like that has to happen organically. Like, you can have multiple best friends or multiple close friends. Like I have multiple best friends. I have female best friend, I have guy best friends. Like, those are like my day one homies. Now, for us men, we don't, toxic masculinity, we don't like, yeah, that's my best friend. Like, we just be like, that's my day one homie.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But in reality, I do have best friends for sure. Like, okay, you're one of my best friends. Billy is one of my best friends. CJ, Payne.
So if you have multiple best friends, why call them a best friend? Why can't they all just be a friend, a really good friend?
Yeah, like if you look at my phone, like the only title of a best friend I ever had was you and Charlene. Like, because I feel like females, like, that's easier for my homies. Like, it's day one homie or a little homie. I like those are my title. Like, I don't have any like a significant like best friend title. You know what I'm saying? So now some friends are closer than others.
That's what I was getting to. So I was gonna say, like, so you don't have that one person that's like in a higher, like in a more like a hierarchy.
Oh, for sure. I definitely have that. That. But it's only because that person, and it's like it's like levels to it. Mm-hmm. But like for me, that one person has always been in my corner. Not saying that everybody else hasn't, but he's shown up more than everyone else has. And it's not even a diss to anybody else. It's just like he's made himself available, just like I've made myself available to him. We've been through so much together that like that is like that's the number one homie right there. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like every day we have conversations, every day we're checking up on each other and stuff like that. And I still have all my other friends who are still pretty much just as close. Like all of my close friends are all like, it's like by points. I don't know why I made that sound effect for that. That was kind of weird.
You should have used a sound effect for it.
Right.
All of my friends are in the split category. Like, it's a close call. Like, everybody is one phone call away from losing their spot.
I don't know why I did it in that voice, but yeah. So like for me, it's like all of us are all like on the same page. You know what I'm saying?
I get it.
And so, but I feel like, I don't know, and you could touch on this a lot more, but I feel like with women it's a little different.
I think it is. I think that women, they have more of a we have a more
I
of
was
a
about to say, go ahead.
tendency to kind of just be like and have like a jealous relationship to where like you can't have. And you know, it may differ. Like I've seen friends with like best friend groups.
Right.
I've seen friends that like you cannot have any other friends. You cannot have any other best friends other than that one person.
Do you feel like that is a form of like insecurity /
I don't think
abandonment?
it's. I think it is a form of abandonment and insecurity. But I just also think that like if you grown with someone for so long, you gave them that title.
Right.
Once they switch up, you're like, hey, what's going on? But I can't really speak from somebody else's perspective, but I can speak from mine though. So like for me, I have people from that goes as far as back as 96, and I was born in 96. So I have a friend, a really best friend,
Yeah.
and we grew up together. She's now my sister. We like share the same cradle, like we are the same crib. We're potty trained together. Like we have pictures on the same toilet. Like we were sitting on the same toilet at 1 year old.
I feel like that's very unsanitary, but it's all good.
I mean, we were babies, but anyways,
Share that toilet.
my grandma was old school. She was like, one go, all go. You know, so that's the way that they was potty trained us back in the day. But anyway,
one cheek hanging off the toilet seat just so everybody can be at the same.
but to say that we were like super close, like from age 0 all the way up to like age 12, 14. Now we look up and I can't remember the last time I talked to her or the last time I seen her. And
Wow.
if when it was probably like years ago. And me and my mom was talking about that, like even like I would have wanted her. We like dreamed of like when we would get married, like we'll be each other's maid of honors, even because of how close we were. And now it's like, oh, you get an invite. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
But
So
like I have her relationship, and then I have other friends where I've been close with them, like something similar. Like I was super close with them as a childhood friend. We grew up, we talk here and there, but we're not as close as we used to be, but just because of how close we were, that just never goes away.
Right. Yeah.
And then I have a friend that I have met today, like this year, and we're super close than ever. So just the fact that I have these friends that I was once super close with, and they were once my best friends, I don't title anyone best friends anymore.
Yeah.
Like,
That
yeah,
range is so like it varies. Like same for me. Like
Yeah.
I have people that I grew up with that I was super close with that we're not all on the same page. And I mean that comes with, you know, everybody has different things that goes on in life and different, you know, situations or different goals, and sometimes people's goals may differ, but it's like you meet people on this journey. You know, you meet people on this journey of life that like God puts in your life because they will enhance what
For
you're
a
supposed
reason
to
or
do.
a season.
Yeah,
That's what
and
I
so
believe.
it's like,
Yeah.
and so for me, it's you see these people like in the last 2 or 3 years like become like brothers to me. You know what I'm saying? That I've grown so quickly that you would have thought like, dang, you've known this dude for a long time, and I'm like, nah, like we've literally known each other for like 2 years or 3 years, and they're like, what? And it's like, yeah, because that connection. Because I feel like the older you get, the more you start to realize
The more you
what
value
type of
friendship.
and like what people that you need in your life. And for me, like it's okay because there's some people that I was always close with as a child, and now I'm not as close to as before. But I don't take offense to it. Like, oh, he didn't even. You got married. I didn't get invited to it. You know, and like, or like, dang, I ain't talked to you in so long. But every time we link up, it's like we've never missed a day.
You're
And I
right.
think, and I feel like, I don't know, and I feel like it's easier for men that way because like we don't really we don't hold on to that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like it's still cool when we see each other, even though we haven't talked in a long time. Like it's still all love. You know what I'm saying? And like and I think that's how friendships should be, because it's like everybody has. I mean, you don't know what people are going through. You don't know what changes they're going through. But as long as you are staying in some form of contact, yeah, maybe relationships might not be the same as they've always been. But it's like you got to respect the growth. And it's like
So like exactly. So like when making this bridesmaids list, it was hard.
I figured that's why you wanted to talk about this topic.
And I don't even have bridesmaids. I have maid of honors.
Yeah, tell the people a little bit about that.
Because the reason why is because just for that reason. Like I was growing up, even up until today, like I've had people that I would be super close with for a period of time.
Right.
They were the only person I see when I look up. You know, like as far as a friend. Like I have somebody right now. Like it's like I feel like God's just been putting different people in my life. Like you said, for reasons and seasons. Like they would be in my life for a season, super close to me, and then there would be somebody new. And it's not to say that like our relationship or our friendship had fell off. It's just that we don't have to talk every day for us to
be close,
to still have that connection that we've already had. Because whenever we talk again or whenever we see each other again, it's always the same. Whenever, you know, I need something or something's support is needed for anything or they're needing support for anything, I'm there, they're there. So for like, as far as like bridesmaids and maid of honors go, I can't single anybody out.
Yeah, you didn't want to put titles to it.
Yeah, I can't just pick just one person that's the most closest to me, because at one point of time, everybody was that person.
Yeah.
And it even just goes back to my childhood friend, who I don't even feel comfortable with even calling her my friend, because we don't have blood, but that's my sister. And I'm just like, dang, like,
yeah.
I low-key can't see myself without her. So
that's deep that you say that, because like it's funny how, I don't know, and I feel like, because I always feel like there's levels of friendships, and there are people that are kind of on the same wavelength, but there's always that one or two or three people that like stick out more than other people. You know what I'm saying? Like, for like a lot of people have that one person that I know, like you like, yo, I know if I call them, it's raps. Now for me, I'm lucky enough to have a band of brothers that all of them are like that. But with the experiences and the growth that I've gone through with each and every one of those people, there are some people that are closer than others. And I think the cool thing about the brotherhood that I have with people, and I think that everybody should adopt this, is like, we don't care about titles, you know? And I don't think anybody, if you shouldn't be in a friendship with someone for a title or a status. Like, oh, that's my closest friend. I'm close. Like, the biggest thing that makes me laugh is when people like compete with each other about who's closer to so-and-so.
Right.
And it's like, what? Like, okay, but does that person know? You know what I'm saying? Like even when we talked about in the last episode, when we were talking about like the comments and stuff of like people showing love on the website, and it's like, for me, like all my homies is like, even now, as we are speaking right now, like I have several group chats of different friends, and like we're all constantly communicating, we're all showing love, we're all cracking jokes, roasting each other. And so, because it's different levels of love. Like there's those people that'll show you love with admiration, and then you got them friends, like the way they show love is roasted. I'm that friend, but I give a mix. You know what I'm saying? I give you a little taste of both. But I think that when it comes down to it, like, yes, what you are saying is titles aren't important when it comes to friendships.
It's a relationship.
And
and that
so
kind of
like,
goes into like relationships too. Like we didn't have a title.
That's also valid.
You were and are my best friend, but I mean now you're my fiance just by default. But I wasn't going around calling you my boyfriend, and you weren't.
We actually like made that very clear when we were like, yo, we know what we want. We're still best friends, and we're not boyfriends. Please don't call me like she literally was like, please don't call me your girlfriend. And I was like, well, please don't call me your boyfriend. Shoot.
Yeah. And then it's like after a while, people were even starting to get irritated by that. Like, that's your girlfriend or that's your boyfriend. Stop. Like, and I'm like, okay, but he's not.
Yeah. And
you know?
it's a concept that not a lot of people understand.
Yeah.
But like, it's always cool because now that we're in that stage of like going into marriage, people are like, they're understanding it. You know what I'm saying? Like they're understanding where we're coming from. And I think that's one of the beautiful things that God has used our relationship for is to show people like, yo, this is a God ordained way to do things.
Right.
Like,
yeah, it is.
Be a legit friend. You know?
Legit, yeah.
I feel like the title of this should be "Why Can't We Be Friends?"
Why can't we just be friends? I think that should be a title.
And so like, but yeah, and so going back to your point, like I think that for men, it's easier for us to grasp that idea of like, there's no titles in a relationship. Like there's no number one, number two. The only time that it ever comes into play, and the only time I ever had to think about it was when I was planning like my groomsmen. That's when I was like, dang, who, like, you know what I'm saying? But like
for me, it's just like, who can I depend on? Who's gonna be there?
Yeah.
It's not so much about the significance, because like I said, like, man, my sister, like, she has a huge significance, right? And there was one point in time where we talked about being each other's maid of honors, but the fact that I haven't talked to her in years, I haven't seen her in years, or I've talked to her, but I haven't seen her in years. It's just like, you know, like, how can I like, am I going to be able to depend on you to be there? So it's not, I'm not saying that I'm doubting her, but it's just like those type of roles, you don't just put people on there just because of their significance to your life. You know, it's where you are in that moment of time that you feel like the person that you're giving these roles will be there.
Right.
Who supports you the most, who comes. It's not about, and I was talking to my mother about that, even because she was like, you know, you kind of need to go back to your roots when it comes to you giving your bridal party. You want to, you go to your childhood friends, the people that you grew up with. And I'm like, how would I do that? And I haven't seen these people in years.
Or talk to these people in years. And how do I know how they're going to come for me? How do I know that they won't just leave me at the aisle? No. You know, and they not going, you know. At the right. You know, they going to just leave me at the altar. And what if I need to call somebody and pray real quick? Yeah.
Over my marriage.
Yeah.
It's not about who has that significance to you from the past. It's about who's present right now.
How you know it's real when you beating on the table.
Like who was there for that recent birthday?
Yeah. But that's the thing, like it's
that's what I'm factoring.
And so I was reading this Tony Evans book, and he was just talking about that, about how like people.
Baby, can I use your cup?
Yeah, he was saying that people usually. Yeah, hold on, y'all. I don't know where the cup went. Oh, it's over there.
Well, you know what? We just gonna be ghetto because it's just me in this house.
Nah, look, this
so
is All of a Sudden podcast. You see the vibes, man.
This is my crib, my refrigerator. I don't share juice with nobody. So yes, I got my cranberry.
She got a whole bottle
jug,
of
and I'm finna go in
senior citizen juice.
Cranberry juice is really good for you.
It's senior citizen juice. It's up there with prune
I would
juice.
disagree.
It's right up there with prune juice.
Whatever.
But yeah, so like, let's just take a second. I just wish they could hear you chugging. They can hear you chugging in the microphone. But yeah, so he was saying like people always get friendships like mistaken with like with time other than experience. Like, because you've been friends with somebody for a long time, people feel entitled to like be like, oh, that's my closest friend because we've had the longest period of time, right? Mm-hmm. And then you have these new people who come in who actually cater to the needs that you have. Like, you're pouring into them, they're pouring into you. And I feel like that is the definition of what a friendship is. If you need to surround yourself with people who have the same goals, the same spiritual, mental goals that you have, because at the end of the day, that's going to be draining. And so for a lot of people, they don't really understand is like you become who you surround yourself with.
Exactly.
And so like even when it comes down to like the groomsmen and stuff, like those people up there, or the bridesmaid or the maid of honors, those people are a representation of you. Those people have the same goals as you. And those people are the ones that everyone will see like, oh, these are the people, like, and the people in attendance are also people that you call on as well.
I want to talk about that in the next episode.
Ooh, part 2?
I want to talk about the reason why I have maid of honors with the S.
That could be like a bonus episode.
I think it should be a bonus episode because I kind of want to get into that, and I want to like kind of explain that a little bit more, because even people were like, I've never heard of it, but I've also haven't been to too many weddings.
I've been to a lot.
Have you seen any maid of honors with an S?
No.
Good.
Never.
I'm glad. I'm setting a
She's trying to set a trend.
I'm finna start setting a new trend. So do we have time to talk about it now, or do you want to wait?
I feel like we should cover that in a bonus episode, but
sure.
Just keep talking about that, like that friendship thing. Like what is a friend? Like what is
I think every individual friend. I was talking to him, Peyton, about that. Shout out to Peyton. That was the friend I was talking to this about.
He's also my friend. He was actually my friend first.
But he's not more. He's probably more my friend now because of a youth group.
Cap.
We see each other way more.
Y'all see each other once a week. I talk to him every day.
Right, you talk to him every day, so do I. That's my brother, y'all. Anyway, shout out to Peyton.
Right. Look, we are doing exactly what we were talking about. Arguing who's got
That's
more
my
better
friend. That's my
friendship.
friend. No. So listen, okay. So this is what we talked about. So every friend will have individually have their own significant roles with things that they do to make that that establishes you guys' friendship, right?
Yeah.
So that's that. However, the amount of significance for me doesn't vary. Like they may all have different contributes, but the amount of love that I have for them doesn't change. And that we were talking about this because we were comparing it to the love of God. Why do we feel like we have to be God's best friend? Why can't God love us all the same, regardless of how we serve him or how we sin?
Yeah.
So,
but that's the thing. He does love us the same.
It's does.
Just we as people, because
you can love somebody the same amount and love them differently.
Oh, facts. Because that's exactly how it was in my house. Like we knew our parents loved us, but we just was like, I think that my little sister gets more love than everybody else. You know what I'm saying? But everybody had to be loved differently. Like I was an athlete, so like the way my dad treated me with sports was the main focus. And I was okay with that because I love sports. But with Jonathan and Jonay and Josiah, everybody else had to be catered to differently. And I think that's one thing that parents also suffer with, is because every child is different. Every friend is different. You can't, the way that I show love for one person isn't the same way I show love for another person, because not all my friends are the same. And that's what I love about my friend group. And because I have such a variety. Now, I have some friends who need more attention than others. I have close friends where I can talk to them once a week and they'll be good. I'll be good. But I have other friends who will be like, if I don't talk to you every other day, like they'd be like, yo, what's good? Like, we got problems? Like, what's up? Like what, did I do something? Like, nah. But I realize that everybody has to be catered to differently. And like, if you genuinely love those people, it doesn't cost you a thing to show that love, because at the end of the day, your friends will show you the same love that you need. You know what I'm saying? What are you smiling for?
You're talking with your hands.
Oh,
You've been doing it the whole time.
I'm starting to get animated a little bit because I'm like, this is a good conversation.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I think that's what friends, they need to understand is that it's just like a household with parents. Like, we're taught that, of course, right? Already. So it's good to know that, you might be this friend, you will have these qualities and these contributes, and I would have, and I can't, right, contributions. Thanks. Contributes was a word too, ain't it?
I don't know, so I'm not gonna comment on it.
Yeah, I'm like, when you questioning my intelligence.
Why you being weird to me?
So, like, there's things that I would do for a friend that I might not do for others, based off of like bridges too.
Yep.
Have you burnt this bridge before? So maybe I just might not want to tap back into that. So I think it's different, but however, there's no amount of love that I have more for anybody else, because like I said, there was a time where there was a person who I looked up when I looked up, they're the only person I seen. And like, you were one of them. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I would always consider you as my best friend. But
I was in the trenches. Yeah.
You was in the trenches for real. But I just, like, now it makes sense as to why I did hold you, like, at a higher standard than anyone else. Like, I had best friends, and I literally stopped calling them my best friends after my birthday, because I seen how you, like, came and you showed up. Like, you were my best friend. I had other best friends. But literally, once my birthday came around and I broke that ankle, I don't have no best friends. He's the best friend. That's it. And even after we had established, like, what we wanted in our relationship further down the line, it was still like, I understood what a friend was. And I understood what a best friend was, and I knew that from here on out, I can't really, just the way that God moves in my life, I cannot title anybody as my best friend unless they significantly show me that, and that's not, and still I feel like I wouldn't be able to do that, because everybody just has their own particular roles. You can't play them all. You play them all, but everyone just can't play all that. Like, you can't be supportive and
and just to kind of clarify on what she's saying, she's not saying that all her friends ain't really her friends, because people can misinterpret it and take it the wrong way.
No.
But she's saying everybody has, like, they role that they fulfill. Nobody can fulfill every role, and that's why you can't. Let
me reiterate what these roles are too. Like, I have a supportive friend, like a super supportive friend that's gonna come to, like, if I'm doing an event, or if I'm doing like a Bible study, worship, if I invite her to it, she's coming.
Right.
I have a friend that's, like, big on birthdays. Like, she's like, she would,
like, everybody has a role
out of town. Like, if you traveling, she's coming. I have somebody I can call and I can pray to. And I can talk about
with
God, or pray. Thank you. I can pray.
I will pray to you.
I'll pray to you. Oh, you know what I'm saying. Anyway, I pray to God, but like, I pray with them to God. Amen. Like, I have different friends that I can just do different things with, but not one I can do all.
Everything. Right. Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying, like, as for a best friend, is something I can do all of those things. Right. And maybe I need to take the time out to write them out, because I know them mentally.
Right.
But it's just like, I've never really just sat and pondered on it. And that's something I would have to do. But, like, for you though, I know that you were meeting every one of those needs. Yeah. And that's why I consider you as my best friend.
No facts, and I think it goes the same way with men. I don't think we think about it to that extent as
Right.
much, but it's one of
You
those
just
things
know
where
it.
you just know, and it's like for us, we have friends who serve different purposes. You know what I'm saying? And it's like everybody knows their role, and like I said before, like I don't consider any. I didn't like when it comes to considering friends on levels, like you know in the back of your mind, but you don't treat each friend to that different standard. Like you don't like that's not the way that it's supposed to be. You don't see like, oh, this is my day one homie and I want everybody to know. Like cuz you make other people feel
You
bad
do
because
that when you
everybody
have
comes in.
exactly, and that's what I think that you do when you have maid of honors or best men. I think that's what that's for.
You set me up. You set me up on that one.
I'm sorry.
But I stand on what I stand on because, and I feel like I said, but people know, like they know if they come in clutch more than another person. You know what I'm saying? And it's like one of those things is what I always, and what I love, and I can speak on my brotherhood because that's just us. Like we know, like no matter who's up there on that stage, I know that I can count on all of my homies. I
Exactly.
just can't have everybody up there. And so like with me,
We should go start going into this next part now since we have this now
oh yeah,
30
we at the
minutes.
30 minute. We at the 30 minute
The
mark.
best part.
Right. So we know y'all listening probably on your way to work. You probably at work right now and you just listen the whole time, but we don't want to keep y'all holding. Listen, make sure y'all tune in. The special episode gonna be dropping. We won't wait a week for the special episode. We'll drop it a little bit later after. We'll just let y'all marinate on this one. But we appreciate y'all for listening. Usually we'll have like a little fun game that we'll do, but we gonna scratch that this week and we'll do that another time because we're doing a bonus episode for y'all. So that means y'all getting 2 episodes in 1 week. But make sure you subscribe to the channel and follow us on the stream, any streaming platform that you see. Make sure you follow us there because this next episode we're gonna be talking about bridesmaids and groomsmen. Maids of honor. Why have maids of honor or a best man if we all love our friends equally? Hey, we're gonna get into it. It might get a little raw, you feel me? But hey, it is what it is. Thank y'all for tuning in. We love y'all. Thanks for listening to All of a Sudden Podcast. We'll see y'all in a couple. Well, we'll see y'all soon because next episode dropping soon.